We are back with a special episode. So let's welcome our guest for today.
Today we have Shravya and Vamshika as our guests. They were early mentors of Sookshmas, so let's talk to them and have an interactive session with them so that we can know how their experience was and we'll see how we can implement in it and learn from it. So let's welcome to this session.
Shravya is a CSC graduate from Bangalore Institute of Technology. Currently, she is working as software developer at Cisco. Welcome to our channel, Shravya.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
And also we have Vamshika here. Vamshika is a CSC graduate from SJBIT Bangalore. She is currently working as a software engineer at Dover India. Welcome to the channel.
Thank you. So Shravya and Vamshika, we have a few set of questions for you, the queries. So firstly, you speak about your journey, how you started with Sookshmas.
Yeah, my journey with Sookshmas started in 2020. I got to know Sookshmas from Karthik sir. He used to train Java to me. And later, initially when I started Sookshmas, I was not knowing much about it. I simply used to play it as a game. Later, Sookshmas has conducted a hackathon in month of February. From there, we had sessions continuously conducted by them, and we got to know what it exactly is. And from there, we started giving interest to it and playing regularly.
So I joined Sookshmas, I think around 2020 March, around that time. We are actually friends from before Sookshmas. So I got to know Sookshmas from her. We went to the hackathon, like she mentioned. The hackathon was in Feb of 2020. It was organized by Sookshmas in SBIT College. So four of us had participated in that, and after the contest, she was a part of Sookshmas from before the contest. But I got to know Sookshmas after that, and then we continued from there. So I was just a participant until maybe June, July. But after that, I even got an opportunity to be a mentor. And in the end of that year, I even went on to intern at Sookshmas. So I've got to explore Sookshmas a lot in depth during that period.
So you said that you are a mentor. How was your experience as a mentor in Sookshmas?
Sookshma's mentorship was a very special experience because I would like to tell a small incident here. So recently, when I was applying to universities, I was preparing my professional resume. So for that, I was in touch with a career counselor in one of the universities. So when during that, when they were reviewing my application, my resume, so they were actually asking that, okay, what is Sookshma? Because it has come in multiple places in my resume. I've been a mentor there. I've been a part. I've been just a participant as well, and then I've interned there. So it covers a huge part of my resume, Sookshma. So mentorship, it helps a lot in that way, and it teaches you a different thing. It gives you a different responsibility. So it is evolving you in a different way. So it gives you responsibility just then, other than just the learning part, how you're handling that, and that improves your learning as well. Because when you're correcting others' mistakes, you should know the answer before you're correcting somebody else. So that puts you in a position of the responsibility again. You feel conscious that no, I'm not, and also you have people looking up to you.
Yeah.
So you cannot be careless or it becomes a habit that no, I will answer my questions perfectly first, and that also teaches you that you're not making mistakes. You're not you can even identify people's mistakes easily because you have also been a participant. You know where people are probably just copying answers or not doing it honestly or just ignoring it. You know the different grades of people because you've come through that journey. So that way you'll be able to assess them well as well, and you'll learn.
How did the experience in Sookshmas help in your career?
So first thing, how we got the mentorship is really nice because they didn't just randomly select people or they didn't take people who are in Sookshmas from long time as mentors. We had a game. There was an event conducted for that, and the winners of that game were taken as the mentors. So from there only we get to know that you should know something to be a mentor. So that's where we started to learn more. And coming to how it helped us, it really helped us a lot because each person's mentality is different. The way each person understands the concept is totally different. So maybe you write an answer in a different way and he writes an answer in a different way. So from that, what happens is that when we are reviewing someone's answer, first we should know that concept completely. Even if we don't know, we used to study. Or maybe when I'm reviewing yours, I know completely. I feel like, oh, this is it. I know that. But when I'm reviewing his, I get to find some new content. So that way, it has really helped. We were in the final year at that time, and our placements was about to start. So it really helped us because every concept in all possible ways we had covered. So this was also like a strategy for us where this was helping us term by term, concept by concept, or subject by subject, because no, in quizzes not only computers was covered, the data structures, OOPS concepts, and even aptitude part was covered. And maybe yes, coming to programming, maybe the skills are same, maybe the type you trace is same, but coming to aptitude, that was not the way. When we see different comments now, one person would have solved it in a very easy way, but sometimes what happened, that person has solved it but there are no comments written, so the person who reads it will not understand it. So we had to sit and evaluate it, understand what he has done and mention that. So like that we got a practical knowledge of what that thing exactly is, what a particular concept exactly is.
So here we have other competitions, like at the end of the time, before half an hour, we'll have a competition that we'll redeem the quality points and all. How was competition in your time?
Yeah, in our time, we had the same competition actually. We were, in the beginning, we were actually only a set of few who used to compete daily, and we both only used to decide that in the points table, it should either be her or me in the first place. That's so for us, it was still 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock, the points table used to close, and 8:59, we used to sit ready to redeem points like that. But later on, by the end, when we were about to just leave Sookshmas, at that time, competition was really high. There were many people into it, and we could see the quality content. So you can't simply cut marks for them, or it was like you can't just reduce them because you want to come. No, everyone are doing it nice. So the competition was really good there. So in that way, the points table also helped us to see, at least when we are attending placement or something, we are just competing with a group of our class students. But the Sookshmas was a platform where people from many places, we used to understand where our position is. So in the ending, it was like, than redeeming points from just the points valid, we used to really play hard so that we come up. It was like that.
And the competition is different for each stage. Like when we joined, we didn't have the quality bonus. It was given only by the mentor. You didn't have a wallet where you could pull the points from, or pull the. It wasn't something you could store. It's like that day you get it, and that's the end of it. So that time it wasn't really much. A lot of things worked in our hands. But after that, I think so. That time the competition was different. The competition was that no, you have to give like the toughest questions. You have to post the toughest questions. You have to post, something different, something unique. So because that was the only means of gaining points. And then there was this one more phase where we started getting points in our wallet, the quality bonus points. So after that, another along with the questions, and the next competition was like, how do you strategically pull it so that you are at the top of the table in that one point, in that particular time, and how do you save the points? How do you use it? It's almost like how you use your pocket money when a child is given pocket money. When you want to use it, when you know you're going to. Sometimes I used to have some questions in mind. I used to save it for the day when I don't have the points, so that now I can redeem the points. Some other day I won't have the points to redeem from my wallet. So all that you could do. And there was another phase where you could gain points from we used to have these weekly activities. We used to have, quizzes, or we used to have some sort of building any mini applications and coding contests. So you could gain quality points from that as well. So once that started, it was again that kind of a mindset that no, we have to be at the best of our game that time. So that time getting daily points had reduced. So the main source was we had the focus had shifted to that weekly activities. So yeah, the competition has been different, but the competitive spirit is always present.
Yeah.
You always wanted to win. You always wanted to be at the top of the table. So that is always there.
So apart from the academics, you have learned something. So what do you feel like this is apart from academics? This I have learned from Sookshmas.
Yeah, mentorship has definitely helped in a lot of ways. apart from academics also, this Sookshmas mentorship now, when you want to do your higher studies and all, this will help a lot in the assistantships, providing assistantships. So since see, if you have done a mentorship just like a mentorship, maybe that would not matter. But they have given stipend. When the Sookshmas is giving stipend, any person outside would understand that they would have put some efforts. No, there's a difference between doing an internship for free and doing an internship for money. When you do it for free, company will not take it seriously because अरे यार free तो कोई भी देता है.
Yeah.
But when you're doing it for money, they know that you put in some efforts. So that way, one thing, it has helped in our resume. And next thing, the meetings which we had and the activities which we had weekly, it was like getting to know people before we even joined the IT. It was like that. So we met a lot of people. We spoke to seniors. We spoke to our juniors. So yeah, in communication wise also, it has helped us a lot.
So yeah, it has definitely helped in your overall development. You like for me, like right now as well, at this point in my career, I think Sookshmas gives you a sense of discipline, which helps you grow in general. Because you have when I was a participant at Sookshmas, irrespective of when I was a mentor or not a mentor, you have a routine set. As in you know that okay, I need to answer these many questions. I need to post these many questions, and the comments and your claps and everything. So there is a routine. Morning I used to spend these many hours, and that evening I used to spend these many hours. So right now, when I look back at it, I feel like, oh, I was spending that much time. That looks like a big deal. But when I was doing it, it did not feel like that big a deal. So it was just very natural, and it was a routine thing that was happening. So I feel that builds a lot of discipline in our life, which I'm genuinely missing out now. That element I'm missing out. So that is a very important personality development that you get from Sookshmas. And another point I would like to add is that like I mentioned earlier, we used to have like these games or events in everyday session also. We used to have it everyday live review session. So in the live review session, when everybody is given an opportunity that okay, you take care of the live review today, you host it. So when you're hosting it, that fear of speaking in front of people, it slowly starts going. And a major impact is done in the weekend events in those, even in brief events. Sometimes when there will be a lot of people who will have stage fright, or even if it's not stage fright, you're not used to coming and talking in front of a lot of people. So the best way to come out of it is when you start it behind the camera. You're not really in front of a live audience, you're not really in front of a live camera, but when you're still representing yourself, that is the first step you're taking, and you can take off from there. So that is again a very important personality development. Like I said, it helps a lot of that.
Yeah, she actually mentioned about claps. So I remember when I first joined Sookshmas, I felt this claps weird thing. I used to just sit simply and clap, clap, clap. And I remember when I joined, it was 100 claps.
Oh.
And
It was happening for a very long time.
for a very long time, it was 100. But we understood the value of clap only after we were mentors. Because that time, when you have something in your mobile, you unwantedly see what is it. Even if you don't want, you just see. Because you have time. It's like scrolling Instagram. You don't want to read that post. But just because you're on that page, you see.
Yeah.
So that happened. And so without intention also, that has helped us a lot.
And also claps help me keep track of the post I've read and the post I haven't, because when I read a post, I have to clap it.
Yeah.
So I used to keep a track of the ones that I haven't. I mean, not necessarily everything, but sometimes I used to end up reading the same thing again. So it used to be another helpful factor.
What was your favorite thing to do? Like playing quiz, or posting MCQ, or commenting?
Commenting was my personal favorite. I used to like questions is like, to be very honest, posting questions is a more productive work.
Yeah.
But I used to enjoy answering questions more than posting questions. But your brain tickles a lot when you post questions, so that's a very integral part of Sookshmas, I feel. A very unique and integral part. Answering questions was fun because I used to get to explore a lot of questions. So that was, and we used to discuss sometimes when we don't get answers and everything.
And the best part was like when we have the same question, we were like, "You don't answer this, I'm going to answer."
Yes, she used to
You
call.
should call. You don't answer this. I know this. I'll answer.
I remember sometimes she used to call me early in the morning and I wouldn't have even woken up. She was like, listen, this question has come and answer and you don't answer. Like, what are you talking about? So we used to do that. It's like she used to mark her territory. This is my question.
Yeah, she personally felt posting difficult, and I remember many times we have discussed like we can do this, and if you observe our questions also, it would be mostly same. The way, the flow, loop, and all would mostly be the same. Only the numbers or the tricks inside would have changed a little. So much we have discussed before doing things.
The thing is, like I mentioned before, we were friends from quite a long time. So we used to have regular conversations. But after Sookshmas, what happened was, in our every conversation, we used to have a dedicated 5-10 minutes for Sookshmas. Like, involuntarily you discuss that, oh, today did you finish that or did you do that? This question came up.
Okay, let's come to the placements. How did Sookshmas help you with your placements since you are in fourth year?
Yeah, the time we joined Sookshmas, like in the Feb of that month, initially that was not our placement time, but once we became the mentors and like August came, that's when our placement started. And we didn't need any additional efforts or any additional materials required for placements because Sookshmas covered everything. Coming to the aptitude part, coming to the coding part, database, everything was covered here. So one thing was that it was covered. The second thing is, since we were commenting on different types of questions which was not available in Google, and also we were trying to not take contents directly from Google, that is what usually companies do to give their aptitude tests, right? So that really helped us a lot because we were able to crack any type of coding questions or aptitude questions came. And since I'm that time I mentioned about how people answer it differently and how they make questions simple, so there we got to know that how one problem can be solved very simple. And we had many of Karthik sir's coding questions given, which we had to answer. Mainly mentors used to answer because it was of a little high standards, and we had to explain that to all the others. So that really helped us during our placements. And also placement means it's not only coming to academics, right? There are other aspects, like there are communication skills, which was also covered here. So like this only, my friend, she is also a part of Sookshmas, but she's from EC branch. So in placements, whichever branch you are, the basic is same. Apti coding round is there in everything. So she was not a mentor, but she was simply playing the game. And one thing I have observed in her is, when she was answering the question, since it was not from Google, she had to read what is there and she had to modify in her own words. When you do it now, you will actually read the content. So somewhere in your subconscious mind, it will be there. When you see a question, it will be like, oh, I've read this somewhere. So that helped her gain knowledge in coding and apti side. Though her EC questions was not covered there, many of her apti and coding questions was covered there. And many times she used to come to me to trace it, how it is done and all. So we can see the interest of students developing by playing this game. It is simply not a waste of time, and it is some quality time which we are giving for ourselves during placements. And when you're preparing for something, you have to intensively spend too much time in reading or whatever, practicing the things there. But this was like a part of it. It was like a daily routine. We were doing it daily, and no extra struggle or extra work was needed for this. So yes.
Placements for me, it was a little different journey. So for me, basically, I had decided I want to do masters way before. So even before joining Sookshmas, almost from around second year of engineering, I had the clarity that I want to do masters. So placements was never in my head that I want to take part, because I wanted to do masters immediately after my engineering. So placements was something I wasn't focusing on. So what happened was that I was always a little into competitive coding, because I'm basically from ICSE in school. So we had Java back in school. In 8th, 9th, 10th we had Java, and in PU we had like C++, C++. We had C++. So that became relatively easy for me, because in engineering, almost first 2 years they cover kind of the same concept. So I had a lot of time, so I started learning Python in my first year of engineering. And I started competitive coding and a little bit of data science and stuff the first year. So and that became a habit to me. That was like a regular routine ka thing, that whenever I'm bored I'm doing. Even when I'm not bored, it's just these many questions in a day. It became a very regular thing for me. So I was always in regular touch with competitive coding. So in placements, usually we focus on three aspects. We focus on aptitude, competitive coding, and we focus on the other theory concepts like OS and then DBMS, networking, and all that. So for me, competitive coding was relatively almost covered there. So what happened was, when I joined Sookshmas, like I said, I didn't have placements in my mind. For me, it was more like a challenge that I wanted to take, and it was an interesting and intriguing concept. That okay, what is it about? And every day you have a game, and then you have rewards, and that is also very motivating because at that age and at that as a student, any such reward is very motivating
Yes.
for you. So that was one of the aspect, and even if it's not the reward, it was like a fun thing for me.
Yes.
So I joined with that basically, and she was already a part of it. And then when they motivate in another motivate, that is what in my office today. That's what we keep discussing about. You can get motivated to work on two things: either when they increase the salary
Yes. Yeah.
or they increase your position. So those are the two driving factors for you. So that was so initially I joined because okay, you get rewards, and then you get more interested when you're giving important positions like mentor or something
Yeah.
like that. Even before mentorship, we used to take part in the evening, the 9 to 9:30 to 10 or something. We used to have these half-an-hour sessions where you take over the live session, where you read the comments and you
Yeah.
tell okay, these many points are supposed to be given. So that sense of responsibility, it improves your work level. So that was my motivative factor to join Sookshmas, not placements. And then I was in fact focusing on my GRE. I was preparing for my GRE. I had my exam in August, September, and COVID increased in that period. COVID, I think, almost started in that period, and there was a lot of problem because in US also, people who were already there, a few students were coming back because the classes were online, and you wouldn't want to stay there when the classes were either way online. So, and there was a lot of confusion because of COVID. There were visa issues, and I didn't want to go in that environment. So it was a very sudden decision for me to attend placement. And I remember very vividly, Cisco interview was in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And Cisco was the first company that had come to our college placement. For any department, actually. CS was the first department to have companies, and Cisco was the first company. So I had the interview in 2 weeks, and it was a very sudden decision for me to attend placement. So I wasn't really targeting Cisco back then because I hadn't prepared. It was just 2 weeks. So, and there was another company after that. So I was mainly targeting for that company. And in that 2 weeks, how Sookshmas played a major role was that competitive coding, like I said, I had covered relatively. And the other major point is aptitude, for which a lot of people invest a lot of time, because you can attend interviews only if you clear the aptitude. So aptitude becomes very important. And my entire aptitude was covered by Sookshmas. I did not spend a single minute on aptitude. I did not have that much time, honestly, and I did not spend. That 2 weeks I purely utilized for a little bit of company research and stuff, and mostly on the theory concepts. And that also I didn't invest a lot of time because more majority of the theory part and complete aptitude was covered by Sookshmas. So that helped me a lot because in that 2 weeks, I could I that was the first company, and I could clear that interview, and I got placed in the same company. So my entire interview prep happened in 2 weeks because the actual prep happened before that. That 2 weeks was just a revision and just so. So although my intention wasn't placements, Sukshma involuntarily trained me for placement.
Yeah.
So that is very important. So like I was telling earlier, people might join Sookshmas for many reasons. It might be because your first thing, your rewards. It is a major motivating factor, or it might be because of placements, or like how I joined. It might just be because you're interested, and sometimes it is just a competition because some people are interested whenever there's a competition or a game or something, you just go and join. So for any reason you're joining Sookshmas, you're ultimately getting use of it.
Yeah.
And it's not even that, okay, I've joined because of one reason. It's not that I will continue for the same reason. It keeps changing. But you, at the end point of it, you're making a lot, but you're getting a lot from that. So that was a very important thing.
Yeah, and as she mentioned, different languages, C, C++, Java. In Sookshmas, what happened, as I said, in later stages, there were many people into it. And we were getting questions from different programming languages. And every mentor, no, it happens like when we both are only there. I may not be comfortable with all the programming languages, or she may not be comfortable. So there was a change then made. I used to take up all the Java questions. She used to take up all the Python questions. Like that, it was only last few months when we were there. But yeah, that really helped because yeah, if you want to learn that language and you can do, but it's okay. But when you're reviewing the question or something, na, it's difficult for you to understand a different programming language and give some marks to others. So that was the major factor where we split ourselves into, you are taking this, you are taking this. So we had mainly questions which we were able to understand and which we could solve. So that also from that, what happened was we got a deeper knowledge of the subject. So that, as she said, unknowingly we were ready for the placements.
And you build a lot of relationships here. Last week I was talking to a person. She also joined Sookshmas. She's not even from Bangalore. She's from another city. So when she joined new, she had contacted me and then she asked me if she can contact me personally and to understand how it works and everything. So and then I was like, yes. So we spoke personally, and after that we were in touch at a personal level for quite some time during work, and then like which company she's working in, and so your relationship building is very important in your professional life. So that starts from here. You go out of your way to contact people, and because not every time you can go ask a friend for help, not every time you can go ask a relative for help. So you need to come out of your shell and ask people whom you don't know. You need to search for people, and that for a person who's not very interactive, for a person who's not from a background where they're extremely outspoken, so that is a very important step for them to start at a smaller group, and then eventually it helps you come out and talk to a bigger group, and you can contact people and ask for referrals and all that. So you're building your professional circle. So that was another very important thing that I noticed. Because until last week also, just last week we spoke and then how she's working and everything. So you share about your projects, her projects, and then you want to switch projects, switch companies. That is an entire network building. That's a very nice thing.
How, what's the review of your parents when you're attending the meetings and getting good stipend? How happy were they?
They were extremely happy because in your third year, fourth year, being financially, when you're earning money and everything, it's a very nice feeling for the parents.
And at the time of COVID, than wasting time, we're actually into something, playing and earning.
Yeah.
So that was
That is
really
a very nice
thing for parents also.
because that gives you a sense of responsibility again. When you're earning your own money, you know where to spend, where not to spend, and that little bit of this one, it grows in you. So that prepares you for the real. That gives a lot of confidence when you talk to people. Because even the toppers are probably not earning anything. You know that you're investing your time in something that is you're getting something.
So any quality reviews to your fellow junior mentors?
Yeah,
How
one
it
review.
done? Guys should do that.
Yeah, one thing which I would definitely tell for all the juniors here is whatever you're doing, be honest in that. You don't know, learn the concept and then comment. Don't simply just Google. As I told you, when you're just for a game, see, when you're getting something out of it. It's not a college exam where you just have to mug up and go right and come and you're ultimately not getting anything. That's not the case here. If you are doing it good, if you are getting score, then anyways you're going to earn something. So whatever you're doing, do it honestly. Whether you're forming questions or whether you're commenting or clapping, do it honestly, not just for a time pass.
Yeah, that is very important. First is honesty, because at the end of the day, you're answerable to yourself. And I remember as a part of my internship, I used to have a lot of conversations with sir we used to sit and discuss about how we can come up with some algorithms or some cheat proof method and everything. So we did implement a couple of it, and I know he sir continued to implement because he had a lot of ideas at that point of time. When I was leaving internship as well. But at the end of the day, it all boils down to, because if a person is hell bent on cheating, he will cheat.
Yeah.
So, but what are you getting out of it? Right? So that end goal, when somebody realizes, that will take you a very long way. And also, I would say spend, you should never consider it that, okay, I'm spending a lot of time on it. And, that
should
is,
be your daily routine.
yeah, when that becomes a part of your life, you will get more advantage of it. You'll be ready to, for instance, sometimes I've taken the quiz when I'm in a function and all. When I'm
Yeah,
in a wedding, I've taken
yes.
quizzes because you want to do it. And that streak, you don't want to break this. I think we had a streak on the run.
Yeah, we should not lose it. Yeah.
So that is very addictive. That's a good addiction. It's a good addiction that you should have.
And it's something like not wasting time. Than sitting playing games, scrolling Instagram, this was like better.
Yes.
I'm not telling when you're busy or something, go to a difficult question. Take up a small question which you know. Try to answer it in your own way. That's a time pass activity which I can tell, but it is, you are gaining something from it.
And there have been situations where, when suppose someday I don't find any question that, say all the questions that I know is answered by somebody,
yeah.
and then there are some questions that I don't know the answer to, and I'm not finding it on Google or something, because some coding questions and all, you won't find it. I can just compile and get the solution, but how to trace it out? So during that scenarios, there have been situations where I've contacted people personally. Like I used to contact her and like a few other people. I had her contact numbers, so it was easier for me to connect with her. But even if it's some other person, we used to have Karthik sir, or if not, we used to text that person personally in the messages section and ask, how did you do it? And like, how do you do it? So once you realize it, if that question is still not answered, you only won't answer.
Yeah, and if
So that
such
was
questions
a good
even no one answers and that question is there from a long time which no one has answered, then we would go up to the others and Karthik sir would personally come and answer that. That was really helpful when we are doing it, because even we don't know, even the other students or other mentors don't know. So that time we used to approach them, all the teachers there. So they used to comment on that so that we get to know more about it. Or sometimes it would be a stage when if there are many questions which are not answered, then a small session would be conducted where we get to know how that question should be answered, and we would among us split it up. You take this, and we would sit and comment on that.
And it's a human nature. Like we can't maintain the same pace all the month
All the time.
to post a quality post.
Yeah.
So what I would say is that it's okay not to post rather than dumping the garbage rate.
Correct.
Is that fine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
That is why the points wallet was introduced.
What students does is that in order to maintain the points and all to gain money, they do post a garbage. That's a very shit thing they do.
Yes.
So that must be avoided. So if you
Yeah,
don't
that's
want, okay, just you have a point called point sleeve, right?
Points.
And reading.
Yeah,
that.
points.
That is a very valid thing. That is.
Initially it was not there, but yeah, in later stages that helped a lot.
Yeah, point sleeve was there from quite a long time. So we used to use it very rarely because as humans you're very greedy. You have point sleeve, you don't want to use it in that month. You want to like save it for some other time. But slowly into the game you'll realize when you should use it, when you shouldn't, when you should let go of something. All that maturity you get through a few months into the game, when that 1 month of just 1 week of intense out of your mind, you slowly get the hang of it. That is when you really start playing the game. That is a real game. Until then, it's just for the money or something. So yeah, that was a very good thing.
So how was the Beyond Knowing game back then? So there were weekly results and daily results were coming up. So how excited were you to see the points table?
The weekly results would mainly depend on the daily results. So by when we were playing games, it would be like 9 o'clock the table will close. So at 8:59 with a points palette we used to sit. From morning we can see who is in the top, who is in the not, but that minute we can't see. Anything can happen.
Everything changes.
Yeah, everything changes in that. We would make strategies. If like we both would decide, you take me this much, but later on when there were many people joined, that was not possible.
Yeah, we used to do that a lot. And weekly you will get by Thursday, Friday we used to know who will win the weekly thing, because who's been consistent, who's been in the top of the entire week. And then you'll decide that, oh, next week, the random week we used to not do that. We used to be a little more relaxed in the random week. But you can't be too relaxed also, because you have the monthly thing coming up. In a monthly thing you want to top. Because that was a very motivating thing.
Monthly thing was not random.
As you mentioned, the points day and random day, what was your strategies?
Yeah, like I said, in the points day, what I used to personally do is in the random ka day, we used to try to get all our scores from the questions and this one side. We used to not
Use our
points valid. But we used to again try to be at the top of the table, because irrespective of who gets to win on the random day, your points this one too will be taken into account.
On the cutoff day, we made sure that all the points are full. We get all the points. And on the random day, we did not use much points from the points valid, but we tried
It was
to score
very
it on
rare. We should not use. And we used to get all these. If you're a weekly mentor, we used to get a +5 bonus and all. And then this one too was regular, because the streak, I don't remember breaking it until the end. We used to always keep the streak, the quiz streak. I'm talking about. So I think for that also we used to get like a 5 point bonus.
Where you went up to win in cutoff and random.
Oh, we've never. But yeah, in the initial days, I think I did win a couple of times. But after that, I don't remember winning quite a lot in the.
Like we have a streak. Some of our friends have a streak, winning continuously at cutoff and random without doing any points. So that's
the algorithm. They are lucky and
That's
But that again is nice, because sometimes somebody who's very new or somebody who's in the lower section of the table, when you're recognized, when your name comes up, so you're like, okay, if this time my name is come randomly, next week
maybe since they're already in the top, they would target for the monthly and try to come up.
Yeah, this is basic human nature, that once you're there in the top, you want to stay there. So next week you will, because you don't know if you'll get lucky next week also.
That is the main idea of random. Actually, it is very nice, because what happens in cutoff is we decide and we are only on the top because we have all the streaks, we have all the points. That will happen. But in cutoff and random week, for all the new joiners, that will be very helpful for them to come up.
Was cutoff and random was from the beginning, or did it?
No, at one point.
It was beginning.
No, it was not from the beginning.
Maybe, but in the initial. Around the initial.
So, any closing quotes from seniors for us?
So, like I said before, one thing is just stay focused and be honest. This is the participants. So, because you need to realize what you're there for, why you're in that, why you've joined Sookshmas in the first place. So once you realize why, then you will, go on to the question how. But if you haven't realized why, that how part won't even come.
Yeah, so, and for the mentors, what I would suggest is, when you're reviewing answers of your juniors, what I would suggest is try to talk to them personally if certain comment is not good. That thing not only boosts your knowledge, but if they are shy enough, or if they have that fear of speaking, that will also help. And you can explain the way that should be done. Because they are still beginner.
There will be accountability. So if somebody is questioning you personally that why have you done Google copy pasted it, you will know not to do it next time. So that brings a sense of, because that was the entire purpose of coming up with this mentor system. Because initially it was just 5 people and you couldn't micromanage people. But right now there are people at each level. You probably have just 5 or 6 students under you. So the purpose of that system only is to give personal attention and know what they're doing and what they're not doing.
When you are taking attention of them, when you are trying to help them, now even they will have that. See, when there is a difference when teacher is explaining and a friend is explaining. So in that perspective, teach them how it should be done. Because when you are mentors, you know what should be done, how you need to answer, or maybe you know that. Or it can be other way around. When you are reviewing, you don't know that certain topic, call them, ask them what you did, how to learn that. So from that, they will also be like, okay, someone is there, someone knows me, I can play this. They will have that confidence.
Also, again, I would like to congratulate you guys. This is amazing, because I think this was a very important, crucial thing that was missing
Yeah.
out in our time. We didn't have any channel like this because I think this goes to a wider audience.
Yes.
Yeah.
So even people who are not a part of Sookshmas or who don't know about Sookshmas, they can understand how it works, and that will motivate them to join Sookshmas. So
Yeah.
that is a very so kudos to you guys. It's an amazing work that you guys are doing. This is good commitment to what you guys
Yeah.
are doing. Really appreciate it.
Thank you guys for joining us. So we are in the flow that will attend the points and will cover these things and all and participate in BK. But when the overall at the end, what you are getting from it, as they said, we are getting that it was very useful for our placements and all. So at the end, what we are getting it is very important. So thank you for teaching us that, and thank you for the joining to this session.